It's a great pleasure having you, Jo Puri. You are the head of GCF's Independent Evaluation Unit. What motivated you to take on this position?
Thank you, Michelle. It's really a pleasure for me to be here. GCF is at a really critical and a very exciting point of its evolution right now. We know that the GCF and the world is looking at climate change as one of its biggest and most formidable challenges. Within this, it becomes even more important for the GCF, but also for the world, to try and see as to what works and what doesn't when it's dealing with climate change. In putting together the Independent Evaluation Unit, the board of the GCF asked for good, credible evidence on how effective we are being. And I'm deeply honored to be asked to be the first director and the head of the Independent Evaluation Unit.
You bring a lot of expertise to the institution. Could you share some of your previous experiences in evaluation?
Thank you. Yes, so before this, I was the Deputy Executive Director and the Head of Evaluation at the International Initiative for Impact Evaluation, or 3IE. And previously, I've worked with UNEP, with Columbia University, with the World Bank, and the United Nations Development Programme. In my various incarnations, I've worked at the intersection of theory and practice of evaluation, and I've worked with frontier methods, but also applying them to the real world. It's this chance to really apply all of this to a new, really exciting institution that brings me here today.
The board appointed you because you have a very specific vision that the board supports, of course. What is your vision for GCF evaluation?
I believe that if we can produce credible, high-quality evidence from evaluations that is also trusted, not just by the board, not just by the GCF staff, but also people outside, that this can help in learning, but also transforming the GCF as well as the world outside. It can help to bring about a change in policies and deeply affect the condition of this earth. I think the GCF is in a leadership position today, and so our job is not just to provide evaluative evidence for GCF, but the world at large. I hope that this vision is something that we can translate into action. The board, through its decision at the 6th meeting, said that the IEU was to inform the decision-making of the board and to provide strategic guidance. The IEU is also tasked with objectively assessing not just the fund overall, but also its activities, projects, and programs for effectiveness and efficiency and its overall results. In this sense, I think the vision that the IEU has is completely and directly aligned with the mandate provided to it by the board.
And where do you see this unit, say, in 2 years' time? What would you like to achieve?
Well, we're a new unit, as you know. The IEU reports directly to the board. I'm a board-appointed official. The IEU has 4 work streams or offices. The first work stream is directed towards undertaking corporate and thematic evaluations. So really asking questions like, and answering questions like, to what extent has the GCF been successful in bringing about a paradigm shift? And to what extent has, for example, gender been mainstreamed into its overall work? Are questions that this work stream will strive to answer. The second work stream will look at processes and implementation. Given that the GCF is still evolving in terms of its policies and procedures, we feel it's really important to get it right from the beginning. And so if we can help the GCF adapt very quickly and learn very quickly from assessing its on-the-ground policies and procedures and hopefully course correct, I think we'll have met a very important objective of the evaluation office, which is learning. The third one is directed towards providing advice and helping not just GCF staff, but also accredited entities, as well as other development partners that are associated with the GCF to build capacity in the area of evaluation. We think it's really important to get this right from the beginning and to build the necessary information systems, data systems, designs to then understand what the impact has been at the project level, at the activity level, as well as at the program level. So we want to work with a diversity of stakeholders to build their capacity at the systemic and institutional level, but also at the individual level. And last but not least, we want to synthesize learning not just from evaluations within GCF, but also outside, to provide the GCF board with the best, most high-quality evidence and the most credible evidence that it can use to guide its own strategy. And in this sense, the fourth work stream, which is directed towards learning, synthesis, and uptake and communication, so that we can translate a lot of the evaluations and evidence into easily understandable products and as well as procedures, and get the GCF to learn in a dynamic way, is going to be the objective of the fourth office. In this sense, I think we are asking both the important questions that are important for the GCF, the evaluability question, I beg your pardon, the evaluation question, the accountability question on one side, but also the learning question on the other.
What do you think will be the main challenges to achieve these objectives?
I think the first challenge and the most important one is really building different sorts of capacities at various levels. So whether this is individual capacity, but not just capacity, but also awareness of how evaluation can really be a power tool to bring about change and can be used in very effective ways to bring about change, is very important. And we do want to work very closely with our GCF colleagues, as well as our other partners outside that are working closely with the GCF, to see evaluation as a positive force. And so that will be our first challenge. The second one is really to build the capacity internally within the office, but also outside, so that we can deliver what I think is a very ambitious mandate. So those are the two things that I'm going to be looking at over the next couple of years.
What is your expectation from the board, and what are your expectations from GCF partners?
Well, from the board, I'm hoping that we'll get not just the support, which has been fantastic till now, and in terms of the vision that has been provided to the IEU, but also the space to hopefully adopt frontier methods, state-of-the-art methods, state-of-the-art theory and practice into our own structures, processes, and procedures. And from GCF partners, I think what we are looking for is an openness to engage and an openness to learn how evaluations can be really a huge game changer. Yes.
Thank you so much, Jo Puri. It's a great pleasure having you, and we look forward to working with you.
Thank you very much, Michelle. I'm really looking forward to working with a whole variety of GCF stakeholders, including, of course, all of you. And I think I'd really like to invite and welcome a diversity of people who can engage with us to come forward and to talk to us. And should these be from members or staff of the GCF or accredited entities, project planners, university specialists, evaluators, come and talk to us, and we'd love to engage. Thank you very much for having me.